Perfect example. I looked for joy, and I found it. BLT, baby. Oh, did you find it too? Oh, you did find it. That's joy. Hey? Hey guys, just sitting here at the computer. John sent me a video. Earth is hell. Give this a serious listen. I think this is what is actually happening. Might give you something for your channel. So I watched this video and it's pretty depressing. It's what you would think. It's the idea that Earth itself is a prison, basically. Hell. And everything we experience here is bad. Loss, torment, despair. How time is the greatest enemy, robs us of everything we know and love, your health, even hope in the end, everything. But I would argue that hell to me would be endless torment. And what we are experiencing here, although it can be terrible, is not endless torment. I have experienced great joy in this life. It's all in how we choose to look at what is happening to us. You can accept that good things happen, bad things happen, and there's a balance, a reciprocality here. Or you can be like some people we know that everything is terrible, there's never any silver lining to that cloud, it's just bad thing after bad thing after bad thing that happens to me, and yet they don't understand, they're not looking for the little good things that happen along the way. How can you be disappointed that your car broke down? You should be thankful that you have a car. You know, many people don't. That's one way to look at it. I know this sounds crazy to say, well, it's all in how we look at it, but that's exactly what it comes down to. My experiences are no different than many of yours. Some of you have had worse lives than me. Some of you haven't. I'm not going to say that my life has been the most terrible, but when I was a kid, I had a father who was an alcoholic. He used to beat my mother in front of us. I did not have a good home life. I lived in fear for many years when I was a child. That progressed throughout my adult life because my father has always refused to admit any wrongdoing and will not admit that any of these things ever happened. And they did, and they still do as an adult. There is a darkness to him, a self-centeredness that he's drawn so far into himself that it's all about him, and there is no giving back to any one community, anything like that. It's why he's been a bachelor for 70 years, right? He just doesn't give to anyone else. And I've tried to work on that relationship and show him the better way, but you just can't. When somebody doesn't accept their own actions and admit to any wrongdoing, there isn't anything further you can do. I'm not a shrink. I'm not his shrink. All I can tell you is just things that he's done to me, my brother, my mother, his girlfriends, other people. You know, if there could be some acceptance, we could move forward, but there isn't, so we can't. So that relationship from the time I was born until now, at age 49, has been a great source of pain in not just my life, my brother, the rest of the family as well, everyone. And it's just one of many things that have happened. My best friend died when I was 19. Another one of my best friends gave one of the biggest betrayals that you can give in a family. He was in my wedding. He was my best man. I'd been to every family get-together, sat at my table, my grandparents' table, my parents' table for dinner hundreds of times. And then we come to find out that this man is a pedophile and has been doing this thing to children in our family. And that was the greatest betrayal. That, in a way, was even worse than when my best friend died when I was 19, because not only do you lose the loved one, they essentially die to you while they're still alive. Right? And then in this case, Doug actually did die because the day he came back to town to face his justice at the courthouse, he had a heart attack and died. You know, there's a lot of things you have to face yourself when that happens, because I had so much anger and resentment and hatred for this man who I had loved like a brother up until this point. It's a betrayal that you cannot explain unless you go through it. It's like the loss of a child. I do not know what that feels like. I hope never to know what that feels like. But there are some things you cannot know unless you go through it. And my point is that having gone through the loss of my best friend when I was 19, yeah, that fucking hurt. That hurt so bad that I didn't make another friend for almost 20 years because I devoted myself to other things that I thought would be more important and to protect myself. I'm not going to make friends because if you don't have friends, it can't hurt, right? You don't let people in. That led to a life of work. I devoted myself to work, my job, building financial security for my family. Then you go through a depression. Everyone does. The midlife crisis, the dark night of the soul. Most people go through this. People that are maturing and growing up will go through this. I don't think my father has ever gone through this. And there are others who I suspect haven't. But once you do, you're basically giving up on the idea that you can change the things you can't change. Acceptance is a huge part of this maturing, this midlife crisis. You accept that you are human, that your time here is limited, and that you have to do as much as you can in that time that's here to get full enjoyment. Whatever it is that you enjoy, that's why we're here, is to experience. And I'm not going to say that it's family or work or traveling or this or that. That's up to every individual to decide what it is. The problem is that people don't know themselves. They don't spend any time with just themselves, their own internal thoughts. When I taught up at the college, all these kids running around, oh, my social anxiety is so bad. My anxiety just rules my life. And it does. And I wish I could tell these kids, sit down and really figure out on a core level, what is it you want out of this experience? Because if you figure out what it is it a family? Is it to travel the world? Whatever the goal is, right? You will draw that energy to you. You will achieve it if you set your mind to it. But most people can't achieve that goal because they don't make the goal in the first place. They run around, they get caught up in a job that really doesn't mean anything to them. It becomes their life. They put a great importance on things that aren't important. Now, if that is what you feel you're here to do, is to lead this company, whatever it is, company X, to greatness or save the planet, and you work tirelessly to do that for 60 years, that can be awesome too, if that's what you truly want. I'm not here to tell anyone what is right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong. What I want to say is it all comes down to being able to see the difference between in light and dark, to spread that light. It's not about a personal gain or what am I getting out of this. You will find the greatest joy comes for doing for other people. And people up until they're 30 don't realize that. You don't experience that. We are all very self-centered because that's the way we are raised. Life revolves around us. Our parents and our grandparents teach us that we are the center of the universe. You go off to school and your teachers, all the attention, everything is focused on you. And then all of a sudden you're let loose in your mid to late 20s to figure out that, wait a minute, the world doesn't revolve around me. But I can still participate and make this place a better place. If you give in to this despair that everything, it's terrible and just bad things happen, you're not looking, because there are simple miracles every day. Take my bird feeder out here, for example. I just spent half an hour watching these birds. It's a miracle that these little guys come here and survive these minus 30 winters. And the joy that they bring, the little songs, the beauty that they bring hanging out in the tree here, these are all things that I personally enjoy. And if you took the time to even notice that it's there and that it's occurring, many more people would. To me, my greatest love has always been nature. I believe that's one of the purposes I was put here for. That's why I went to school and got a post-diploma in environmental protection. And I worked underground. I worked as an environmental coordinator for a huge corporation, a paper mill. I've worked for a consulting firm. That's, I think, one of my life goals is to enjoy, protect, and love nature. I think I've come to realize that is my personal love. That is what I'm hoping to get out of this experience more than anything is the enjoyment of nature, the love of nature, sharing it with people, getting people to see it, understand it, acknowledge that it's there. I tried my best teaching up at the college to get these kids in that mindset of, without nature, we are nothing, right? We cannot survive if there's no clean water. We cannot survive if there's no clean air. And so that's, I think, what I've come to realize is my goal, is to share that knowledge that we are part of the system. We can't abuse it. But every person here has to look within themselves to find what their personal goal is. What is it you are trying to experience? And there will be experiences that come along that happen that you may not have been looking for. Good, bad, and indifferent. Things are going to happen every day. And I find myself, even myself, I get angry. Oh, the four-wheeler's not working. Oh, it won't start. The snow machine won't start. And then I have to realize it's just an experience. It's just a test. It's just to show me that I need to be aware of what's going on around me all the time and myself. Be aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. This is the problem. Again, back to this anxiety thing. Kids couldn't even tell you if you ask them to verbalize what they're feeling. They can't tell you. All they can say is, my anxiety is terrible. Well, what does that mean? You know, you need to sit down and figure out what you're feeling and why you feel this way. And I think that if we taught these kids spirituality and meditation and all of these things in the younger years of school, that I think would help these kids immensely. We have a society of anxious individuals out there. Like, it's rampant. I couldn't believe in a class of 36 kids, you got 18 of them that have special paperwork from the school saying that they don't have to get up in front of the class and put on a presentation because their anxiety is too bad. Not just because I'm old school and we were never given that choice when I went to school, but also because I do feel I am fairly enlightened. I realize that that is a challenge you must face. You must overcome that. And if you don't, you're never going to grow. So when John sent me this video anyway, I sent him my long-winded reply, which was, you need to look for the small things and enjoy the small things. And I don't agree with this video. Yes, all of these terrible things happen here, but there are a lot of good things that happen. My life has not been all torment, which I think hell would be continuous torment. And I've had many good things happen to me as well as many bad things. It's reciprocal. Everything that happens is tied. There's good, there's bad, there's gain, there's loss. There's acceptance, joy, darkness, despair. You can even gain from darkness and despair. You can learn just as much from those things as from when good things are happening in your life. You will in fact appreciate the good things more when you've had a touch of this thrown in there. Which brings me to the next point is, I told John, and I firmly believe this the more I've gone down this road, we've talked about it in previous videos, I believe God is internal, not external. I believe that all of us are gods in our own right, inside. We have this power. Why we're here, I don't know. All I can tell you is that I just consciously became aware in this plane at some point when I was a small child. How did we get here? I don't know. Is that important? Probably not. All that is important is that you need to realize it happened. Consciously, you just became aware here in this plane, and it's going to happen again. After we move on and die and move on, whatever this process is, why wouldn't it happen again, right? It happened once. It's going to happen again. So you just have to learn to let go of the things you can't control. Enjoy the ride, basically. Enjoy life, everything. Good, bad, the ugly. A few beers, you can enjoy the ugly. Anyway, guys, I just feel I haven't done a Transcending video in a while, but this is how I feel. And I'm not perfect, guys, because I'll tell you, I get wrapped up in what's going on politically in the world right now. No, we're not going to get into it because you just need to know that you can spend all of your energy trying to worry and fight about this. And again, it's something that I can't change because I don't live in the US of A. I know how these people feel. Millions of people. They're split, down the middle. Half feel this way, the other half feel the exact opposite way. How do you fix that and reconcile that? I don't know. But as an outsider, I feel the same pain and torment, and I feel I waste a lot of energy. So I'm still learning, right? I guess it shows that I'm still engaged and paying attention to what's going on around me, but I don't feel that necessarily that is the best use of my energy and time. I would love to see change for the better. I just want to see, I feel that it's a lack of love and caring and generosity and sharing. I believe it comes down to darkness and greed and a corporate keeping people tied into this, 60-hour work week bullshit where they can't afford stuff. They can't experience anything good. A world society move to a better place where everyone has worth and value. I try to work on to expand my acceptance, I guess. And I feel I'm more accepting than many. But even I still have a long way to go. I am not fully enlightened by any means, but I do think about these things. And I just feel the need to share, because when I see John send me this, and I can tell, I know he's like, oh, this hell is right here on earth. I figured it out. No, I don't think you have, John. If you still look for the good, you will find it. It can be as simple as, you guys posted a picture of a dog. Did you get a new dog? I don't know. That's freaking awesome if you did. You're going to have a best friend for the next 12 years. And if you didn't get a dog, you should get a dog. Anyway, guys, I just felt the need to share. And for context, I'll even link the video John sent me in the description below. Give it a watch, open-minded. Let me know what you think. These are just my thoughts after watching it, but what do you think? Do you agree with the video? Is John right? Is this really what's going on? Let me know.